Hey guys, welcome back. Well, today I'm going to be taking a look at this pretty cool little micro drone by JJRC. This is called the Planc, P-L-A-N-C, I believe it's spelled. Let me double check that with the instruction manual. I'll show you guys here. The Planc, ultra thin micro drone. The neat thing about this drone is, look how flat it is. The motors actually pivot up into the shell and you can pop them out. Now this was sent to me by my good buddy Bryan over at True Drone Reviews. He sent me a whole box of goodies, and he sent me this one along with several other things. I've not test flown this yet, so this will be my maiden flight of this today. Be sure to check out Bryan's review of this to get his input as well. I know he loved it. It worked really good outside, which shocked me. I thought this would act sort of like a parachute and that it wouldn't actually do well, but it actually flew really well for him in the wind. Now to pop the motors out, you just flip this little switch on each side and the motors pop down, and then now you've got your little landing pad there, you know, your little landing spots just on each motor, and the motors are good to go on this. Now, there may have been some spare props with this in the bag and a screwdriver. I don't remember. I didn't grab, you know, he had to throw this in another box with the other drone, so I think it was probably in there. I may have just overlooked it. Now, it does come with, of course, your controller here, and it comes with a USB charging cable, which is, you know, a micro USB, and here's your battery, which is a 350 milliamp hour, I can get it here, 20C, of course 1S LiPo. I need to pop it back together here. I dropped the battery on the ground and the battery kind of popped apart. So there we go, now it's back together. I dropped it on the floor as I was coming up the steps to come outside, and the battery kind of popped apart. But I think it's okay. It's a 20C 1S LiPo, 350 milliamp hour. The micro USB connectors in the back, that's where you plug the cable in. A green light comes on, I think, and goes out whenever it's fully charged. So it's sort of a smart in terms of it turns off itself using the actual battery. This, of course, is proprietary, so you have to pick up extras of this one from a vendor. You know, it has JJRC stuff because you can't just use any little LiPo in it. This takes about 50 minutes to charge, and it's supposed to provide around 5 minutes of flight time out of that. Now the controller is nicely labeled. You've got your headless mode, one key return, auto takeoff and landing, your trim here. These are non-functional. Your stop button and your roll trim. You've got your high, medium, and low rates here. And this one doesn't do anything. I don't believe this drone can do 360 flips. To calibrate the gyros, I believe it was both sticks down and out, I think. The instruction manual mentions it here. If I can grab the instructions, it does mention in here, let me set it down. It mentions calibration in here. If I can find it, I want to make sure that it is both sticks down and out. It's either down and out or it's down and in. If I can find it, it is both sticks down and in does your calibration for the gyro. So both sticks down and in. Let's go ahead now and see if we can figure out how to fire this guy up. So I'm going to go ahead and put the battery in it, and it just slides in here in the back like this. So it's in. Here's your power button on top. I can grab the controller. You can see some blue and red lights on the inside. Not going to be super helpful for orientation, and I could see where that might be the biggest difficulty I could see ahead of time would be making sure you can see this white light on front to maintain orientation, since this is so familiar looking front and back. It looks the same from each angle you look at it, especially front and back. Let's go ahead and set it down on the ground here. Go ahead and turn on the controller and see if we try to do an up and down to pair. And let's see, I step back here, let's see if we can do, if auto takeoff takes off. That just starts the motors, I think. Let's see. Then give it throttle. So I don't think it, I think I remember that from Bryan's, I don't think it actually takes off. You just press it, and it, as you saw, it fired the motors down if you didn't take off in time. Very slow, y'all. Man, almost no pitch in that lowest mode, lowest rate. Let's go up to the middle rate there. I'm gonna bring it a little closer. It's gonna be difficult for you guys to see. Very little yaw. The yaw's a little quicker. A little more pitch. Let's go up to the highest rate. A lot more pitch there. And I'm sure the yaw's gonna be a lot better. Let's see. The yaw's better. It's still kind of slow, but it's doing surprisingly well because we have a decent breeze here at times. And this thing, you would think this thing would be a real parachute. But right now it's doing okay, but it is rather, you know, the wind's rather light. little bit noisy. This is obviously going to be the best as an indoor flyer. As you can see, it has altitude hold, so it's doing a good job of maintaining its altitude. Let's go ahead here and let's do an auto landing and see how it works with auto landing. I pressed it and it's coming down, I believe. If it is, it's a slow lander. Pretty good gust of wind coming up right now. I'm trying to correct it to get it to land on the pad. Boy, it's a slow lander. There we go. All right, go ahead and just, I'm gonna see if we can, I don't know how we unlock let's do the gyro calibration. Both sticks down and in, I think it was. I hope I remember that right. Let's see, can you do, looks like you have to use the auto takeoff to start the props. It does not give you long. I press it 1001, 1000, about 2 seconds, and it shuts them back down. So press that and then quickly give it throttle to take off. Like I said, doing both sticks down and in, I think it was. No, I'm probably getting backwards with gyro, but calibration. But it doesn't appear offhand to have a way of unlocking it besides using the auto takeoff button. See how it does on a funnel. It should be kind of a big funnel. Yeah, it's not going to do a funnel very good. Part of the yaw rate's so slow. It's fighting into that wind. It's not real fast. It's doing better than I thought, though. I seemed like with Bryan fluid, it was a little bit sportier for him. I'm surprised. You can certainly fly this outdoors, but you gotta have it on a rather calm day. But as I mentioned, this is more of an indoor flyer ideally. It's just hard to fly these reviews inside my house and give you guys enough room to see what it can do. And of course, light and stuff is always an issue. It really is a slow descender, and I'm giving it down, reducing the throttle. That's not uncommon with these altitude hold drones. They really want to keep their altitude. I'm bringing it down now. Now it finally starts going. That's because I held the throttle down too long and it came all the way to the ground. Let's make sure the motors are all on spot. Let's go ahead and just hand launch this again. Start the motors, throw it up, and give it throttle. You do that kind of quick because, as you saw, that does not keep the throttle on the props very long before it kills them. I've never seen a drone do that. They always usually fire up the motors and they stay spinning until you turn them off or you take off. This one gives you about 2 seconds to make up your mind, and it fires the motors back down. Yeah, not a bad little drone. I don't use headless mode much. It might be beneficial on this drone for some of you guys because it looks so similar. If you're not able to locate that front white LED, which actually is easier to see than I expected. One key return, I don't know again. I mean, I'm not a big fan of that. It's a gimmick, but we'll fly it out here and see if it comes back. And it's going that way. I'm gonna press it again, just cancel it. That's because I probably had the drone facing. One key return just flies back the opposite direction you were facing, as long as you keep it out in front of you. If it's behind you, it's gonna just fly away from you. And it was flying this way. So I mean, when I threw it up in my hand, I had the drone facing off to the left like that. Oh, bring it back up. And it flew back this way. So the best way to do that is just land the drone and stop the motors, and I think then start it back up. Sometimes some of the drones have a way of resetting the compass. Well, it's not only, I don't think it actually has a compass. It doesn't actually, but resetting the direction that it's facing. You also use that for headless mode as well. Headless mode and one key return are related. I mean, headless mode is just using one key return is just using headless mode. I think the battery's going low on us, guys. The one key return is using headless mode, to fly back in the opposite, direction that it's facing. That's how headless mode is able to keep its orientation for a while, with your controls. So, actually, I don't use those modes. I don't recommend it, especially headless mode. One key return's fine, but headless mode really is just teach you, allows a beginner to get a drone up in the air without actually teaching you how to fly. to fly. All right, guys, I don't know what the flight time was on that. I'll try to include it if I remember. It's probably around 5 minutes. As it gets low, it gets sluggish and starts to lose altitude, which you expect on a altitude hold drone. I'm not super impressed outside. I think Bryan was maybe a little more impressed. To me, it was a little sluggish. The yaw's rather slow, and you know, it's really slow to come down. And even at highest pitch, when you start to get some wind, as you can see with this, the wind's just going to hit this like a wall. It struggles, but that's to be expected. It didn't do bad outside though. I mean, I thought this drone would be a disaster outside, and it isn't. But indoors, this is going to be great. Just make sure you have a little bit of room to fly this around. Being this is not a nano, this is more, you know, a micro-sized drone. All right, guys, so that wraps it up. I think this is pretty cool. If I could find a link, I'll put a link to purchase this if you guys are interested in picking up the JJRC Planc. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, guys. I do appreciate that. Click the bell so you know when I do upload a new video, you're notified. And as always, guys, have a great day.
The power of the dark side.